Hi and welcome to my stream. Thank you for joining me today. Today we will be working on a knitting project on my knitting loom. I am still new to my loom, so I am not as trained as I would like to be, but I really enjoy it, so I'd like to share it with you all. And you can, if you have your loom, or if you'd like to knit with me one day, my video will be available here after the live stream. If you like, you could join me now and we can chat. If not, you can just leave me a message if you'd like to, if you like what you saw or you'd like to see something else. Oh, sorry, I'm knitting, so I'm not using my crochet needle. I will do that another day. So right here, I'm just going to do a slip knot to start out, and I'm using today a mixture of bamboo and cotton yarn, and I really like this color. It was called eggplant. So yeah, I'm gonna do an eggplant piece today. So I'm just gonna do my slip knot again, and it's just turning it over like that and pulling it through. Done. Now my slip knot, I'm just gonna anchor it on my peg over here. And I'm not going with any particular design. First, I'm just going to start with casting on. Did I want more yarn there? I think I wanted more yarn so I could lay it down. So I'm going to recast. Just measure out the length of the board, give it a little extra, and then put my slip knot from there. I'm just going to leave this side to hang for now while I work this side. So I have no special plans for this piece or where it will take me right now. Wherever it takes me, I will go. Thank you for joining me here today on Des Create. I'm just going to cast on with a basic E stitch, just weaving it through, just connecting it to each one of the pegs. And while I go along here, I don't want to add too much pressure on pulling the yarn too tight. Sorry. Almost taken out by the soft box. So I'm just going to take it all the way to the end with my E stitch back and forth. And this yarn is really nice to work with. It's really soft on the hands. And I can imagine it will be really soft on the skin as well. So just my basic E. All I'm doing here, just my E stitch. I don't know too many stitches as yet, but the E stitch is one of my favorites. So right here at the end, I'm just going to wrap that peg there, and then I'm going to go back around. That's with a U. I'm sorry, I don't want a U on top. I would like to just go reverse with that E. So now I'm just taking it in reverse, but before I do that, let me redo this one. Before I do that, I just want to push all my yarn down to the bottom, and this is just going to help me to wrap my second set of stitches on my peg. So just work all those pieces down to the bottom, and now I'm just wrapping on this last peg. It's just a U stitch, it's not an E. Now I'm going with the E this way, going reverse, I guess. Knitting is very relaxing, and I've found that knitting with the loom is very easy, very, very easy. Once you pick up a few stitches, you can try to create your own designs, live a little on the wild side, get creative with it. So I think this might be my, see, I have a green one, a white one, pink one, and a gold one. So I have 4 pieces that I've finished so far on the loom, and I love each one of them. All very lovely in their own way. And I plan to do a lot more. There's so many designs you can make, so many different stitches you can use. Now when I get to the end here, I'm just going to give it, do I want to do a U or do I want to do an E? I think I'll do a U. Yeah, so I'm just going to anchor off on the end here. Just let me grab my right needle here. So with my needle now, I'm just going to get in here and I'm going to bring that first stitch over, just pushing it down as I do that. So this is just my casting on stitch. I'm still pondering what stitch I might do in this piece. I might just continue with just this, or I might get a little elaborate. Don't know yet. Stick with me and find out together. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being here. So working with the loom, when you're passing your stitches from the bottom over the top, just keep your finger nearby to help push that yarn down. Just help it out to go where you want it to go. And it also helps for it not to jump back on top of your peg, because sometimes that would happen. Happened to me many times. So just remember, if you're joining in with me, the stitch that I'm doing right now, it's only E stitches on both sides. Nothing fancy. That one came back. So when I get to the end here, I'm just going to take that extra piece of yarn that I saved when I was tying off my slip knot. I'm just going to pass it down on top of this first set of stitches that I'm making. And that just helps to pull it down as well, and just keep everything in its place for that first stitch. Oh, yeah. Just make sure each time you're moving over your bottom yarn over your top yarn that you're hooking into it and you're bringing all the pieces over the peg with you. because if you leave a piece, sometimes the yarn would get split, and maybe you take 2 to 3 pieces and drop the one. We don't want to drop any, so just keep an eye out for that. And if you do, just go back and get those other pieces that were dropped and cross it over. So this is the piece that was left in the beginning, and I'm just going to lay it down on that board. I'm just going to lay it down there, and on this corner I'm just going to stick it in and pull it out at the bottom. No, I don't want this piece to be tight. Even though it's my cast on, I would like it to sit as freely as possible, so I'm not going to go back in there to try to pull the excess out. I'm just going to leave it as is, and I'm going to start to wrap. Now I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to wrap, so I'm going to try to do a little quick math here. I did like the last pattern I did. I don't think I used all the pegs, and I don't have my notes nearby. So let's see. I think it was 38. Make the 2 corners off. I think I might. I wanted to try a stitch that I saw. I only watched it once, so bear with me. It might not come out too well, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to go over 2 pegs up top. So that's not what I saw in that stitch. It was this way. And 2 that way. So no, that's not where I want to go. I want to go this way. And then this way. Okay. I think I'm on the right path where I want to go. I'm just going to keep going and hope for the best. So right here, I am forming kind of like a figure 8, I would say. It's just pretty large, figure 8, and I'm using 4 pegs for it. And I'm just trying to keep my finger as gentle as possible on that yarn, trying not to put too much pressure on it to pull those pegs overly close. Don't want them to be cinched in. I would like the piece to flow as freely as possible. There we go. Okay. I have one. I only have one on the end here. I might make it look a little weird. 3. I would have to leave 4 over here if I want to do that. I'm not quite sure what this will look like. I think I'll scrap that because I wasn't prepared for that. So I really don't know what would come out if I keep that stitch. So I'm just going to go back to the E-wrap, and I'm just going to keep this design with ease. These are pretty easy to do. Nothing hard about it. It's pretty basic. I'm just wrapping your ear around each peg. Just trying not to put too much pressure on it. And it's always good to follow the wrapping with your finger, just putting your finger on the closest peg, and that helps just in case you jump a peg, because sometimes it happens and then it unravels itself. So if you just follow as you go, just keeping up with that other hand, you don't have to be on every peg that is just wrapped, just close enough to hold so you don't lose too much if it unravels itself. Now that is wrapped, just gonna leave this one and go straight to the next one, just making sure I get all that yarn over and just work my way down to the other side. After I finish, I'm just going to turn my loom around and then start working the other side. And moving your yarn from bottom to top, it doesn't really matter which side you start on. You could start from your center and work your way out to the side. You can start from the sides, whatever side you like, and work your way. All that matters in this particular pattern is that by the time you are finished with that row, you only have one wrapped yarn on each peg. This is a pretty simple pattern, nothing too hard. I really like the color. I think it'll be a nice fresh piece. Just keep your not dominant hand nearby as you go along. It helps to push the piece down. Just tapping it, helping it out to stay where you want it to. This yarn is behaving quite lovely. I'm very, very pleased. It said it was a crochet yarn. I think it also said it was a knitting yarn. I had slight fears that it would have given me a little trouble on the loom, because I noticed it was multiple strands that were together but not intensely tight. So I feared that it might come out, but so far I've only dropped one and I regained it really quick. So overall I said it's a very good yarn. I'm very pleased with it. So I'm just wrapping off my ease, just going down that board back and forth, wrapping an E-stitch on each peg, trying not to put pressure on it as I go along. Try to remember to keep my finger nearby just in case it jumps, because it does that. And you could keep your finger on any side because you're wrapping both sides, so it doesn't really matter where you put your finger as long as it's behind where you're wrapping. Could be on any side of the peg. And all we're doing here is E-stitch and then a U at the end. Now I start missing the first one, as that is our wrap. There's not a second stitch there to be moved. So I just continue from here, just moving each one over the other. Sometimes it might jump back like there 3 times in a row, and just go back over it and cross it over. All I'm doing here is ease stitches, nothing else, just ease stitches. Very, very basic pattern. Just wrapping the ease and crossing the bottom yarn over the top. Very lovely, very, very lovely. So I have quite a bit of yarn of this color, and I'm going to see how far each one will take me. Drop the string there, but I think it belongs to this one. Yeah. Oh, I wrapped it the wrong way. Okay. So I need to go this way. There we go. Looks good now. There. Now I'm just going to turn it around and start moving my yarn on this side, one by one, just working it down. Yarn is performing real lovely. If you drop a yarn while you're crossing it, just go back and find where it belongs to and just put it in its place. When it gets a little longer, then you can start pulling it out from through the bottom. I like to use it in that way as well when it's out through the bottom already, just to give it a slight little tug with my thumb, just to help everything go where I want it to. I don't think it's long enough yet because I've only done 3 rows so far, so I'm just gonna keep going, wrapping off my E-stitches. Just trying to make sure I don't put too much pressure on it. I saw some videos that, I think it was Mrs. Knit, I'm not so sure, might have been someone else, but they used a pen to fish the yarn through, and then they just used that to wrap, and it looked like it helped a lot because it didn't put any different tension on it. It just passed through, and then the pen was like writing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find me a pen and maybe try that technique. Let you guys know if it worked. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being here. So happy to be able to share my craft with you. Haven't quite set up a schedule as yet. As soon as I can figure that all out, I'll be more than happy to share it and let my followers know when I'll be live, and you could join me right here on Des Create. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. If you know anyone that might be interested in my crafts, please share, subscribe for more content, click the bell. My plans are to try to stream at least live stream 3 times a week with my crafts. I have multiple crafts I like to do. Knitting is one of them. I'm quite new to the knitting loom, and I self-taught myself to knit with knitting needles. I am more trained in crochet, but it's been a long time since I really dug into it. But I will be bringing that to my channel and sharing it with you all soon. And I thank you so much for tuning in. So I think when I get to the end of this row, it might be long enough to try to bring it out through the bottom. I just can't wait to take a peek at it. I want to see what the E-stitch all by itself looks like. If it makes me happy. I hope so. I'm almost here at the end. No, that's not the last one. Here's the last one. Okay. Now I'm just going to flip it around so I can see the bottom. And I'm just going to gently pull on it because I don't want to hook any of the strings by itself and causing it to stretch out by itself in a direction that I would rather it not be. I just want all my little loops to kind of chill and get happy with each other. So I think I'm liking it, and I'm just gonna keep going. So all I'm doing is wrapping E-stitches, the whole piece E-stitches, at least for now. I like to keep my fingers nearby just in case. Oop, went the wrong way. So you could just imagine drawing a cursive letter E. That's basically what we're doing here. We're just doing E, 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 E all the way. All 38 pegs of E. If you combine the E-stitch with the U-stitch, combining it as in one side has all E-stitch and the other side has all U-stitch, then you create the honeycomb pattern. Now that pattern, pretty delicate, quite lovely, does look like honeycomb, at least in my opinion. I did like doing that one. I think I dropped the string here, but I'm not quite sure. Yes, I did. It looked a little strange. It wasn't flowing. It was being bound. Sometimes just one piece will do that. One tiny little string could make your piece look pinched. So I don't want no pinch in my piece, so I'm just going to try to just keep an eye on it, and whenever a pinch happens, just try to unpinch it. When I get here at the end, I'm just going to turn my loom around and start moving my bottom yarn over my top on the other side. Very, very easy stitch. If you're a beginner and you'd like to get into knitting because it's like so relaxing and you could make lovely pieces, I would strongly advise you to go with the knitting loom, as it's very easy to learn. You could make wonderful, beautiful pieces with it. And then you could progress from there. It could be like your stepping stone to move on to more different kind of yarn works, as there's so many out there. You'd be amazed. I was amazed. Keep searching and finding, and wow, it's just so much to learn. And not just in knitting, in life itself. Life is wonderful. We live in a wonderful place. Very grateful to be here, to be able to create. More rows I put, the more longer it will get. Let's see if I can see it better yet. It kind of looks like a little fishnet right now. I'll just keep going until it can reveal itself more. The stitch I'm using is the E-stitch, and that's it. I'll just E-stitch. Oh, I dropped the string. I just like to keep my hand nearby, just to help that yarn to stay where I want it to stay. When I get to the end here, I just wrap it around my loom. I like to give it at least 3 wraps. To me, I feel safe with that. I've noticed if I wrap it once or twice, sometimes it would undo itself and jump off the loom. Not appreciated, of course. So I find 3 or more is the way to go. And I'm just working my way down the loom here, just passing my stitches all the bottom over the top, one by one. I really love this eggplant color that I got. It's quite lovely. I'm almost at the end here. I'm just going to turn it around and start down the other side. I just dropped one of my wrap that I had here around the end part of my peg, but it didn't really bother me because I already moved this corner one here on the end. I already moved the bottom yarn over the top, so that helped to keep that yarn in place and it won't go anywhere. So 2 wraps now, it's okay because it's already anchored down. The stitch has been made. I'm just going to keep going, moving my bottom over my top, just making sure they all cross over. Looking quite lovely. There we go. It's getting a little longer now. It's quite lovely. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I give you a little peek. Probably need to make it a little longer so it's visible. Yeah, I'll just keep going. Very, very, very easy. Just E-stitches all the way. Drop the stitch. Just keep an eye out for that. Try not to put too much tension on it. And when you wrap, make sure all the pieces of the yarn gets wrapped and you're not leaving no pieces behind. Sometimes the peg might get between it and split it. You'll end up with some on top, some wrapped. You don't want that. Just back it up and wrap it again. And a U. Okay. So I'm just going to move my bottom over my top again. And just work my way down to the other side. Nothing fancy here. Just E-wrapping and crossing your bottom yarn over your top. Each time just making sure you cross all the pieces over, not leaving anything behind. Just work your way down that loom. If you'd like to use a circular loom, you'd have to do it a little different. Haven't quite learned that as yet, but it is something that I do want to learn. How to work on one side of the loom. I thought about using my loom that I have now and just running on one side and going around the other side, but I have not attempted as yet. Did a little research on how to do it, just haven't quite built up the confidence, I guess, to try it, but I will be there and then I'll share it with you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. So today I'm just working this knitting loom. Still fairly new to the loom, but I love it. I really do. Some might say loom work is easy. So, yeah, what? Good tool. Makes good pieces. Very good for beginners. What's not to like about the loom? And really, there's more complicated stitches to do. Not everything is just the E and the U. Now I got that. I'm going to start and wrap my new row. Just get some yarn off the ball. I don't have to stop mid wrapping and do that. I'm really loving the yarn. Very nice. Very, very nice. So I'm just wrapping off my E stitches right now. And it's just an E on each peg. Each peg. One E. Now that is wrapped, I'm just going to start moving my bottom yarn over my top. Hey baby, working dad, I'm live baby. Yeah. So I'm just working each bottom yarn over the top, working my way down the loom. I'm just repeating the same stitch over and over. When it's long enough, I'll be able to show you guys what is coming out at the bottom. I think it looks quite lovely. I think it will be a nice piece. So I'm not planning on doing all of this bit on the loom. A portion of it I'm thinking about doing crochet, but I haven't quite decided yet. So stay with me and we find out together what will become of the eggplant yarn. It looks like I have more string than I want to. I do. So I'm gonna have to take this off. Just remember how it was before. And I have to just fish that one little string that is down there that didn't get passed that way. And then bring my yarn back onto it. There we go. It's good. Sometimes it likes to rebound and jump back on that peg. Coming out quite lovely. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. I'm happy with my eggplant knit. It's nice. Oh yeah, it's really nice. There we go. Now I'm going to start to wrap again, and that's all that I'm going to do with this portion of this piece. Just doing the E stitch. That's it. E stitch. And with that, a beautiful mesh is being created. with this beautiful eggplant yarn. I say eggplant yarn, but it's not made out of eggplant. It's just the color, the name that was on the package. It was called eggplant. So this yarn that I'm working with today is 70% bamboo and 30% cotton. It's really, really soft on the hands. Quite lovely. Oh, good thing I was nearby. Didn't lose too much just now when it jumped off track. There we go. And I just anchor it on the end there. So I go straight to the second peg here because the first one is not being worked in this row. That will be worked when I come back on the other row. And I'm just going to move my bottom over my top. Just keep going. Very, very easy pattern. Nothing complicated about it. Yes, it does take time, but everything in life takes time. And creating a piece for yourself, there's nothing more rewarding than that, I have to say. I think I dropped one over there. I'm just gonna have to return, seek it out. Here it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna remove the top yarn, keeping it in the position, and just pass the rest of that yarn over so he can be where he belongs. Just keep an eye out for that. Sometimes one piece would stay behind, and I'm not talking about like the whole piece. If you get the yarn and you roll it a little, you'd notice that it splits up into pieces. This one has 5 pieces, so sooner or later you're bound to drop a piece. Nothing wrong with that. Just keep an eye out, and if you do, just get in there and fix it. Yeah. You don't have to. I'm not being like school teacher Des or anything. I'm very grateful to have you all here, and you don't want to go back and do that though. That's your piece you're working on. But just to let you know, if you leave that string there and you don't correct it, you'll have a pinched piece. I don't want my piece to be pinched. I'm just going to keep a close eye on it as I go along. Just trying to make sure I bring all the pieces over and I don't have no pinching in my piece. It will be a very, very simple knit. When I get to the end here, I'm just gonna roll out a little bit of yarn, not too much, just enough to work with. Just gonna give it a little pull. I like to keep everything down. I don't know if you could see it yet. If it's visible, it's probably not. Eggplant is really dark. So I'm going back into my E-stitch, just wrapping it off, making sure I wrap around each peg one time. You have other stitches that you wrap multiple times. I haven't ventured into those yet, but I will one day. And I'll bring it to you right here on Des Create. Thank you so much for being here. Highly appreciate you sharing your time with me. Yeah, I need to roll out some more. And I'm just going to anchor it off on that end. Start moving my bottom over my top. Just trying to make sure I move. I feel like I'm leaving pieces behind because I must be. You look quite skinny over on the other side. Okay, yeah, I got them all now. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. It tends to happen from time to time. Just work that yarn. And yes, it's a slow process, but to me, well worth the time. Really relaxing, gets me all nice and calm. I guess it's like my form of meditation. Yarn is performing quite lovely. I thought I was going to have trouble with it based on the size, but I'm not having nothing out of the ordinary. Because dropping some of the strings, it's normal. It happens with the other yarns as well. Lost my music. I need help. Very lovely day today. Every day is a lovely day. Doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's cold, if it's hot beyond hot. Have another day of life. Grateful for each day. So when I get to the end here, I'm just going to start to wrap my E-stitch again. Just keep adding one row onto another row, making that piece longer and longer. It's looking lovely. I'm very pleased with the stitch. So I'm going to go back into my E-wrap here. That's all I'm doing here in this stitch. Just E-wrap all the way to the other side of the loom. And I try not to put too much tension on my yarn. I try. Now I'm just going to start to move my bottom over my top again. Just trying to make sure I get a grip of all those pieces of yarn and then bring it over the top E-stitch. I'm just going to keep doing that, working my way down the loom. Just keeping an eye on the piece, just making sure I am passing each piece of that yarn over each time. And I like to use my thumb just to help to pull that piece through the loom, giving it a little tension, stopping it from rebounding and jumping back over the peg. I missed one there. There we go. Giving it an eye over to make sure all the pieces of yarn has crossed. After I get to the end here, I'm just going to turn my loom around and start working my way down the other side. Oh, bless you, love. So if you feel like the yarn is the wrap, each of your wraps. Oh, thank you, baby. It's okay. I thank you. Could you check my music? Like, I have silence, except for me.
It's already been more than an hour.
Been here for more than an hour?
Nothing has already been here for more than an
Oh,
hour.
oh, I said no.
You've been here exactly an hour. Because before you probably started, it was like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. So it's after 4 right now?
It's 4:37.
Okay. I'm gonna do up to 5 today and then I go cook.
No.
Thank you, son. It's quite lovely. Quite lovely. Yeah. I'm happy with the design. Nothing over the top. I'm just wrapping my E-stitches. Just keep going till I get to the end. I'll just anchor it down on my peg. No, not my peg, sorry. On my board. My loom. And then I'm going to start to move my bottom yarn over my top. Just working one peg at a time, moving my bottom over the top, creating that pattern. All I'm doing is the E-stitch, nothing fancy, just a regular E-stitch. Just keep an eye out, making sure you're passing all the pieces of that yarn over to the other side. And you just do the other side, moving the bottom yarn over the top, one by one. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for being here with me. Something happened there. I only have like 3 yarn there. I have to find my other 2. Somehow I dropped them back there. Okay. Let me see if I can recover this. I'm not sure if I can, but I'll try. I think I got one. Yep, I got one. Got another one. There's one more there. Okay, I think I got them all. Yeah, that looks good. I'm just gonna return my yarn back on that peg and then move the bottom over the top. I'm just using my left hand to pull the piece through the bottom, just trying to help it out, taking out some of that slack that might cause it to throw itself back on the peg. We don't want that. So now that row is finished, I'm going to start to wrap my E-stitches once more. And I'm just working my way down this peg, just getting each and every peg wrapped with my E-stitch. Just keeping an eye out, making sure I get one wrap on each peg. I just like to anchor that off on the side. It helps. You could also go to that last peg and lift your bottom over the top, and that also helps to anchor that down on the side, that it won't jump and ravel out on itself. But I find wrapping it makes me happy, so I wrap. Just gonna make sure I got what I went for there. I think I do. Yeah, it looks right. Now I'm just working my way down the peg again, moving my bottom yarn over my top. Just giving it a nice little gentle pull each time I pass one over. Just helping it out to stay down in place. You can also use the needle to help push it down. Find that works quite lovely as well. I use both methods. I use the needle pushing and I use my thumb for added tension on it. To me, it helps the piece to just flow through the loom nicely and not trying to jump a peg or anything. I'm almost at the end here, and when I get there, just going to turn my loom around and start moving the other side, bottom over the top. Very easy design, and it yields a beautiful mesh. Takes a little bit of time, but it really puts you in a good place. Just enjoy the time with your loom. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. If you're with me now or you're joining in later, I thank you. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Today I work my loom with this beautiful E-stitch, and that's all I am doing here. Nothing else, just E-stitches. Might jazz the piece up along the way with another stitch. Might not. All depends how I feel as I go along. If I like what I see, I will continue. If I want a little more to the piece, then I might add something else. At this moment, I can't say what this piece will turn into, because I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just going to go with it and let it take me where it wants to be. I like to make my designs flow as I've seen that's my best way of creating. Sometime I would set out with one creation in mind, and along the way something would happen, and I don't let that deter me. I just let it take me where it wants to take me. I am wearing one of my pieces today, as I not only knit, but I also sew. Been sewing now for a pretty long time. Was not taught to sew clothes. I did 2 years what is known as home economics. My wonderful aunt, absolutely wonderful, bless her soul, bless her soul. She taught me many things, many wonderful things. One of them, how to operate a sewing machine. And after that, my creativity just continued to grow. As I grew up in a household with many talented designers. I call them designers because they design, they make their own creations. My mother being the main one. Sat by her side for many hours as she would work. Did not ask much questions, but it seemed I learned what I needed to learn. Now I'm almost at the end here. Just going to turn it around and start to work the other side. Very quick. Whoa, did I miss a yarn there? That one looks like it belongs to way back down there. Yeah, it happens. Oh, I can't pick it up now. Here we go. Okay, I'm just gonna hope that that was with that piece. Sometime a piece of yarn may get left behind. Just keep an eye out for it, and if it does, try your best to correct it. Ah, there. And as soon as I get to the end here, I'm just going to start to wrap my E-stitch once more. It's a very lovely pattern, and it's a two-sided pattern, so it doesn't matter which side you look at it, it will always be the front because it's reversible. So I'm going back into my E-wraps, just starting the new row, just working my way down the loom, wrapping the E-stitch on each peg as I go. Ooh, I missed some yarn there. It's good to keep your other hand nearby, just in case it jumps off, because it does sometimes. I just slammed that piece down. wasn't angry or anything. I just saw it like it was going to jump and I didn't want it to. Attack that strain. Lovely, lovely. So pretty. After I finish this first ball of yarn, I'm just going to whip out my measuring tape and see how much inches I got out of one ball of yarn. They're not the big ones, they're pretty small. Not complaining. Wonderful yarn, wonderful yarn. So soft, so lovely. But I would like to know how many rows I can take out of each ball of yarn, and then I can use that as my reference on what can be done with the yarn that I have, what it can and cannot be transformed into based on that. Lovely. Would be nice if I could get a dress out of it. Just love dresses. Well, not all dresses. I love cute dresses. Okay. So I'm just moving my bottom yarn over my top here, and I'm just working my way down my loom, one peg at a time. And yes, a part of me just wants to breeze through this design because it's so quick and easy, but I gotta remind myself, keep an eye out, making sure I'm crossing all my pieces of yarn each time. And you could use your tool just to help to push that yarn down. Very lovely. I'm going into my wrapping again, just working my E-stitches down that board. I need some more yarn. So yeah, I don't want to put too much tension, especially here in the center. I seem to always put so much tension in the center of my loom. It collapses both sides together. I see it as part of my design. Why I say that is because the loom tightens so much in the center. I'm very happy it only happens there in the center. It's pretty much centered. But because of what the loom is doing, it also helps my design to come out with this lovely shape. So it's a negative and a positive in one. What I notice, because it does that in there, It makes my end pieces more elongated because it stays open the distance it's supposed to. So the end corners seem to be more elongated in my pieces, and then the center piece kind of pull up. So I like it. It makes me happy. Don't know what's going on there. Okay, so I'm just going to start to move my bottom yarn over my top once more. Just gonna work my way down that loom. You could take your time if you're joining me. You come back to my video, it will be there on Des Create. Thank you for joining me. So I'm halfway up my loom, and I'm just going to keep going. Just keep going with that pattern, moving the bottom over the top, one by one. Nothing fancy, just E-stitch, and it gives you such a lovely knit pattern. I am quite happy with my choice of stitch. Now to find out what will become of this piece. That's like the second fun part of creating your own designs. The first fun part is using it, of course. So I'm just doing here the same thing I did on the other side. Just lifting that bottom yarn, crossing it over the top one and over the peg, pushing it down, creating that row. And what happened there? I guess it's okay. I thought I had more pieces than what I was supposed to have there, but it's okay. Almost there. Last one. Okay. Time to start to wrap my E-stitch once more. I'm really loving this yarn. So soft. Back to my E-wrap. All I'm doing, just wrapping some E's. Oh, missed a piece there. Halfway there. I try not to put too much tension when I'm wrapping. I say I try, but as you could see, my center part of my loom is kind of just closing in on itself there, and that's okay. Gives me a nice design, so it doesn't bother me. just going to pass my bottom yarn over my top. Just work my way down to the other side. And I just like to use my thumb in there. I feel it helps me to move a little faster. You don't really have to go fast. You could take it at your own pace. I just get excited when I start working on a piece. And it's already 5. So, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I'm just going to pass this last row over. Then I'm going to try to show you what all we did today. Because, yeah, we did this together. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I create something new on my knitting loom. On my knitting loom. Get tongue-tied every so often. Halfway there. Keep going. Last one. Just gonna give it a little pull. Just trying to bring it down. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is what I have so far. And it's the same if you look at it the other direction. Exactly the same. All I did was E-stitches. And I have this lovely mesh. So I'm going to quit for today and I'm going to leave it there. And I thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow is Friday. I don't think I'll be broadcasting tomorrow, but I should be here next week. Tuesday, maybe Monday. I'll see. Might be here before you know it. I'll try to keep you updated as soon as I figure out a schedule and try to stick to my schedule. Thank you so much for joining me today. I say bye-bye for now. See you next time. Take care and have a blessed day. Bye.